Hey everybody, so I'm recording this video because I want to. I'm kind of inspired. I feel like I've discovered something that I've known for a long time and I haven't applied it as much as I thought I needed to. So I'm challenging myself. I'm trying to get out of my comfort zone and I'm trying to change the way I think, or I guess change the way if I even think. And basically what I'm talking about is mindfulness. If you haven't read Eckhart Tolle's Power of Now, highly suggest you read it. It's a great read. I think it's for anybody and everybody. He quotes from almost every religion, which is kind of cool to me because I'm a spiritual person. I'm not really a religious person. There is a difference if you don't know. I don't know, I guess you should figure that out. I don't feel like explaining it right now, but anyways. But it's cool because it shows that I don't think any religion's wrong, but I think that they're all kind of right. So I don't want to commit to one when I could be missing out on something that the others have to offer. So I kind of keep an open mind and I don't shut myself or keep myself into one religion. So when it comes to mindfulness, mindfulness is just about being present. That's the basic definition. It's being in the present moment. Not thinking about what I just said 3 minutes ago. Not thinking about what I'm going to say in 3 minutes. Not thinking about tomorrow or what I'm going to eat for dinner because I haven't eaten dinner yet and it's 5:30. Or thinking about what I had for breakfast and if that's why my stomach's bothering me. But it's not, don't worry. So it's just mindfulness, being present. And when we're present, there's a peace, there's an acceptance, there's clarity, there's ideas that come in. Our minds are always thinking of what I just said or what I just did, or something you regret or something that bothers you or something you need to do. So your mind is never in the present moment. Well, I won't say never. There are times when your mind is in the present moment, but at first I feel like you have to force it there. You have to, unless you're doing something you love. Like when I play basketball, that hour of basketball, I'm mindfulness. I'm nothing but mindful. I'm not thinking about what I'm doing afterwards. I don't care if I'm going out to eat afterwards, because I know I'm going to, but I don't have to worry about it. I am so focused on just what I'm doing for this play in that moment, and that's why I think I'm a good basketball player, even though I haven't played basketball in a couple years. Maybe a bad analogy, but I think it's relevant to a lot of people. We all have things that we do that get us in that mindful state, and those are the things that we love to do. Love to spend time with friends, because when you're with your friends, there's not a care in the world. You're just having fun with them in that moment, doing whatever you're doing, even if it's just having a conversation for a couple hours. That's it. You're lost in that moment, that present, and that's when the best things happen. And that's why we keep friends around, because it feels good to have those mindful moments with people. So how do we do that all the time? Because why don't you want to do it? Why would you not want to feel good all the time? Why would you do things that are going to take you out of that mindfulness? Sure, you have to, I guess at some point you may have to sit down and plan. But I don't even think you have to do that. Do you have to plan for your bills? Your bill's due every month. It's due every month. You plan on paying it, so either pay it when you have the money or pay it when it's due. Set it on auto pay. If you're at that point, which I hope everybody gets to that point. If you're not, get on auto pay and let your bill, one less thing to worry about. One less thing to worry about in the future or in the past. Oh man, I just paid that bill and now I got to figure out what I'm going to do with money. So now what am I going to do? Don't think about it. Find ways to not think about it. Is it easier said than done? I don't think so. I think it's easy as you want it to be. People make things difficult. We always try to find an excuse on why we can't do something. It's probably the number one talent that we all have. We have this talent of, when an opportunity or something comes up, we have so many reasons why we can't do it. I can't do that. I got kids. What the hell does that have to do with anything? Do you think every person that's successful is single and doesn't have kids? Because they're not. Most of them actually have kids, multiple kids. So it's just an excuse. And I get and it's because everyone wants to stay in that comfort zone. When you have kids, I'm gonna use this as an example, even though I don't have kids, because I understand where you're coming from. But when you have kids, you want that stability, right? You want to know that they're going to eat every day. But if you had more confidence in yourself to know that no matter what, you're going to do what it takes to make money to feed them, then you don't have to keep that stable job, that stability, that consistent income, and you could start doing things that you love. And I actually feel like that's more important than a lot of things you do when you have a kid, because if you don't, then you're just showing your kid, like that's the example you're setting for your kid, right? You're setting the example that you need to make sacrifices for other people to be happy. And you should never have to make a sacrifice for anyone to be happy, even if it is your children. I get it. I get it. And I don't have children. So I know a lot of people will probably say, well, you don't have kids, so you don't understand. Well, I was a kid, so I do understand. I understand from a different perspective than you do, but I still get it. And I believe that if you show your kid that following your passion and doing what you truly love in your life, then your kid will be more likely to do that. Because and it's just like everything else. Like my parents used to tell me, don't smoke, it's bad for you, and smoked in front of me all day. Now luckily it disgusted me and I didn't smoke, but my brother did. Because they're contradicting what they're saying. You're telling me something's bad for me, but yet you're doing it. So now I'm confused. Which one is it? Because if it's so bad and you're telling me it's bad, then why are you doing it? So it's the same thing with your job. If you're going to a job you hate and tell your kid, don't be like me, do something else, or your kid's going to be confused because they're like, but you're doing that for me. So if your kid grows up and they have kids, they're going to feel like they need to make that same sacrifice. But I'm telling you, you don't have to make that sacrifice. And actually, when you make sacrifices like that, you put pressure on other people. If you sacrifice something for a spouse, now your happiness is based on them. You've made that sacrifice. You know, I'm not taking the job that I really want because it would affect your life, your spouse's life, right? So now it's on them to make sure that you're happy because you couldn't follow your happiness. And that's not fair either. So you should both be able to pursue your happinesses and compromise and work it out. And maybe it won't be at the same time. Maybe you do have to wait a little longer for something to happen, because that's what happened with me and my wife. I did make a sacrifice, but I chose to make that sacrifice because I knew it was only a temporary sacrifice. I told her, you quit your job first. We're going to follow this dream. At the time, I thought it was more her dream than mine, but it's our dream. Luckily, I got lucky and I got someone that our dreams match. They're not identical, but they are on the same path next to each other, closely next to each other, and it works. So don't sacrifice. And a lot of this comes from being mindful, right? So you have to be in the present moment. You know, and I think people will notice that too. Like if you're talking to somebody and you're present and you're listening to them fully, then good things will happen. But if you're not listening to them fully, I think they can tell. Even if they don't say it, and if it's subtle, it may change their attitude because they don't feel like they're getting full attention. And it drives me crazy when I go out somewhere with people and we're sitting at the table and everyone's got their phones out. And it's like, why did we come to hang out so I could watch you guys all on Facebook? And oh, we're going to talk about Facebook posts. Look what so-and-so just posted. Or, oh, did you see my post the other day? No, I didn't. But how about you just tell me what you wanted to tell me instead of show me your post? Like, let's just have a conversation. Like, let's be in the present moment. Like, let's talk about something. Let's get, I don't know. Let's get deep. Like, let's actually have a real conversation instead of talking about TV shows that we watch. Because TV's cool. It's entertaining. But like I want every conversation to be productive and engaging and challenge me and open my mind and actually make me think more. And I think that happens when you're present. It all comes back to being present, and I keep coming back to being present. Like as I'm talking now, I'm not thinking about what I'm going to say next. I'm just kind of going with my thoughts in my head and just letting it come out as much as possible. And maybe that's why I'm just talking about me thinking about talking right now, because that's all my mind is on right now. But I know great things are in there, and I know great things are coming out. And the more that I let them out, the better I'll get at this. And is that the end goal? I don't know. I don't think so. I think there's actually a deeper goal than that. I think this is just the beginning. This is just the beginning of what can be amazing. And I think you can, Like I feel like I'm getting lost in this moment and in the next moment. And when it comes to mindfulness, one of the things that I like to point out is that, each moment is equally as important. And we put a lot of pressure on ourselves with specific moments. That job interview, like that moment is specifically important because I have to get this job, because if I don't get this job, it won't complete me and I won't have more money and I won't get benefits. And you put so much pressure on yourself that you can actually talk yourself out of getting it, or, make yourself nervous or make yourself uncomfortable. But when you realize that that interview is just as important as the conversation you had with your mother yesterday, because she should mean more to you than a job does, right? It's everything we do is important. It's equally important. Me brushing my teeth this morning was just as important as me talking right now. It's just as important as when I go to the studio and I interact with my clients. It's just as important as the time I spend with my nephew. It's just as important as when I cut my hair. Yeah, I cut my own hair. Can't you tell? Everything is just as important. Like nothing's higher or lower than the other. We think it is. We think but if you think certain moments are more important than the other ones, then you're putting significance on those, and you're putting pressure on yourself, right? You're putting pressure on yourself because these moments are what define me. Me brushing my teeth and shaving and going to buy clothes, or putting my clothes on and showering, and my whole procedure that I do throughout the entire day. That doesn't define me, but yet I do it. So why do I do it if it doesn't define me? Everything we do defines us. And everything we do doesn't matter if it does define us, because who are we defining ourselves to besides ourselves? Like, I don't care what anyone thinks of me. And I've been saying this for years, but yet there's still a part of me that did care. And now I'm getting closer and closer to really not giving a fuck. And even swearing, I don't swear often, but I feel like there is a time and place to swear, and when it needs to be said, and to get your point across, and maybe just for the attention, for the whoa, what'd he just say? Like, yeah, I just said fuck, so it's just a word. But don't put more significance on that word than the rest of the words in my sentence, because I don't care, right? So you have to realize that there's this, we want to define everything. We want to make everything. And a lot of that comes from our minds, our thoughts. One of the other things, I say a lot of things, so I might say a lot. If you ever listen to me talk, I'll say a lot of times, oh, one of my favorite things to say is, or one of my favorite quotes is, I have a lot of favorite quotes. I have a lot of favorite things to say. Because they're all my favorite things to say. And it just depends on the moment. So in this moment, my favorite thing to say is your thoughts create feelings, and your feelings create your reality. I believe that's the way it goes. So your feelings create thoughts, and your thoughts create your reality. So if I feel angry, right? I feel angry, which creates thoughts about that anger, and then that thought creates my reality. So don't get angry. Well, basically I'm saying is like, so when it comes to negative thinking, that's why bad things happen to miserable people, because you're creating that reality. And not only are you creating it, you're looking for it. Because I always feel like think about a day where it was like a horrible day for you, right? Or if you can't think of one, that's fine. But just play with me for a little bit. So you wake up, you have this horrible day. You wake up, you stub your toe. That starts the day off bad, right? So then you get in the bathroom, ran out of toothpaste. Now you're irritated because now you can't brush your teeth. So you just got to use a little mouthwash real quick just so you're at least fresh, so you can brush your teeth later. And you're annoyed. And then your shirt that you wanted to wear is not there. So you're annoyed that now you have to put on a different shirt, and you go through the day, and there's traffic, and you're annoyed with that, and you're late for work, and the day just spirals down out of control, right? Now let's reverse that, and let's say that you keep a present, mindful, positive attitude, and you wake up and you stub your toe, and you're like, man, that sucked, but I'm going to take this as a sign that I need to pay attention more, because why did I stub my toe on this inanimate object that's been in my house for years, right? So I need to pay attention, because obviously I'm not paying attention to my surroundings. I'm not as present as I thought I was. And then you get in the bathroom and you ran out of toothpaste. And you're like, dang it, you know what? I did know yesterday that I needed to grab toothpaste. That's on me. My bad. You know what? I'll just use mouthwash for today. Hopefully I won't have to talk close to people, but if I do, you know, we'll chew on gum all day. You know, you'll find a way. Maybe you'll find some toothpaste or stop at the store on the way to work and brush your teeth on lunch or something, right? So you'll find you're not worried about that. That's fine. That's cool. So then you go to, you know, like you had a shirt that you wanted to wear, but it's dirty. And you're like, dang it, you know what? That gave you the opportunity to find a new shirt. And like, it's a shirt that you normally don't wear. And wow, it fits me better. Oh, I didn't even notice that. Like, it's a little loose on me. I must have been losing weight. So now you're really feeling good. Then you're in your car and you get stuck in traffic. And nothing important's going on at work today, so you're just like, you know what, whatever. Turn the music up and you just have a good time, just enjoying music. You get to listen to more songs than you normally do on your way to work because of traffic, right? So you have a great day. So do you see how nothing changed except you being present and staying positive, and as long as you're present and not making the significance, like stubbing your toe wasn't significant, it was as equally as important as every other part of your day. Not having a toothpaste, not as significant. Not having the shirt, and actually, you know, from it you may find positive things, but even those positive things, they're still not as significant as each and every moment. And each and every moment is that it is. Being present, I keep saying this, but it's the only real thing, and that's why it's so important to be in it. The past is over with. It doesn't exist. You can't change it. So there's no reason to look back on it unless there's a lesson there. I get there can be lessons in the past. But even that is not quite true, because the person that screwed you over 20 times, if you just do that, then you'll never trust them. And maybe that 21st time is actually going to be the time when not only they surprise you, but it's like their breakthrough that they needed. So you either have to just make the decision to trust someone or not, and not base it on the past. Even though there's lessons learned, but it's like, you know, accept that, all right, this person screwed me over 20 times, but I'm going to give them another chance. And if they screw me over, oh well, I'm okay with that, right? So you're not worried about that, but you gave them that opportunity and you let go of that past, and then they probably won't disappoint you, because they may be disappointing you because you were looking for it in the first place. So the past does not exist. It's over with. You can't change it, and it no longer exists. Who I was last week is not the person I am this week. So Jason last week is not me this week, right? And the future obviously doesn't exist yet. But you don't know what the future is. And if you've seen movies, I can't remember the movie I'm thinking about. It's with Ben Affleck, where they create this machine where you can look into the future. And because he looks into the future, he actually ruins the future. Because when people know the future, they stop doing things, right? If you knew what day you were going to die, you wouldn't live the same way. But if you didn't know, maybe you'd live longer. Like if you looked to the future and it said you're going to die next week, then you'd the whole week be prepared to die, right? But maybe you didn't have to die that week. Maybe that was just from that. Like there's 7 days where something could have changed to change your future. And unless you check back repeatedly on what your new future is, then you're never going to know. And you can do things to change that future. So you may plan for the future, but you shouldn't have expectations. There should be goals. You should have end dates for your goals. I get that. But be present and be okay that, you know, the future's coming, although it never gets there because it's always ahead of us. And the only thing that's real is the present. This is what I'm focused on. So why not be mindful? Like, being mindful makes more sense than anything I've ever said. And I think that's why I push meditation, because when you're meditating, you're being present. And not only are you being present, you're being present just with yourself. It is very internal, just magical thing that happens when you sit and you just be. And you just be. Just let your body be. Let those thoughts slowly go away. And if they don't, accept that they're still there. Let them pass. Don't feed into them, because that's what we do a lot. I've mentioned this quite a few times. We feed into these thoughts. You know, we get a thought that pops up about like something that's coming up in the future, and then we create all these scenarios, all these future scenarios that never happen, and there's no way that they can all happen, because that's what happens too. Like, even if you get into like a disagreement, or if someone says something to you, right, and you don't agree with it, and maybe you had an argument with them, And then so like you leave the argument, but on the way home, you're replaying that argument. And not only are you replaying the argument, now you got all these new answers. And some of the times you get mad at yourself because now you're starting to actually see the rebuttals that you needed when you were in that battle. And that's because you're no longer fighting and you're mindful, but you're also thinking about things, and now you have the time to actually think about them instead of just spewing out the anger that you have, which is completely different than being mindful. It's similar, but it's not coming from the right place because you're coming from a hateful place and a negative place. And when you're in a negative place and you're mindful, then you're going down the wrong vortex. You're going down this negative vortex because you can be in the vortex in a negative way and attract nothing but negativity. Right? Right. I'm talking to myself. But you can attract that negativity and you can just become so much more negative and it doesn't get anything accomplished. I actually saw something on Facebook today that I'm not going to really get into, but I read the comments and I just see, and all I see, and I'm not taking sides, even though I do have a point of view which may lean towards one side or the other, but all I saw was two people trying to tell the other person that they were 100% right. And they're both wrong as far as I'm concerned. But now do I jump in and tell them they're both wrong and I'm right? No, because I'm not going to get a part of that. I'm not going to get caught up in that bullshit. So I didn't, and I didn't think there was a way to help them, because if there was, then there would have started to been some compromise. They would have started agreeing on things, and the only thing they'd agreed on to disagree, which I hate that. Like, let's agree to disagree. So that means, yeah, I'm going to think what I think, you can think what you think, because you're completely wrong and I'm completely right. You're both wrong. And maybe I'm not right either. But if I threw my opinion in, maybe all three of us could start to come up with something, and we could actually start to like give. You know, everyone wants to convince each other that they're 100% right. And I don't want to convince you that I'm 100% right. I want you to actually try it and see if I'm 100% right. Challenge me. Tell me that I'm wrong. I love when people tell me that I'm wrong. Actually, you know, the more I look for people to tell me I'm wrong, the more they sit there and like, nah, man, you right. Like I can't even argue with you. I don't know why I brought the accent, but that's how it is sometimes. And I don't try to be right all the time. I just say what I feel and what I think and my points of view and where I've come from. And if I'm right, I'm right. But I also, and I say I'm right all the time because I only talk about things I know. Because why would I talk about something I don't know? If I don't know, then I'm going to be wrong. So I'm not going to argue with you. You know more than me. So I'm not arguing. It's just me. So law of attraction. Let's talk about the law of attraction for a minute, because this is really, because it's still in my mind, because it's so brand new. But I just landed my first speaking job, paid speaking job. I've never spoke before in front of a group of people. I've recorded videos and posted them in front of a group of people. I gave a thank you speech at my wedding 9 years ago while I was intoxicated. I've done a little bit of group coaching, but I haven't done any like public speaking at all. And now I have my first public speaking job. I didn't even try to get it. I didn't do any, like, it was effortless. It was given to me. And it's because of the place I'm at. It's because of my mindfulness and because I put myself out there and because I've been genuine and I'm being real and I'm being me. And when you start to be you with people on a regular basis and being present, people see that in you. People see it in me. I see it in people. There's a reason why like I love my business so much, because it gives me the opportunity to give other people opportunities. And I see potential in people, and I just want to help them bring out that potential. And I don't force it on people. I actually been begging someone for months, I'd say at least 6 months, to come to my studio and do a workshop. And she was like, yeah, I'll think about it. And I didn't push, but every now and then I'd be like, hey, like, the opportunity's still there. Like, you know what I mean? Like people complain about their lives, but opportunities are handed to you and you just have to take them. And so this speaking job came up, and actually when it first came up, my initial thought was, well, like, man, I've never really spoken in front of people. And actually, I don't like speaking in front of people. It's one of my biggest fears. It was one of my biggest fears. And actually, I have a social anxiety. I don't even like talking to people. I don't even like large groups of people for the most part. But I don't think, I've realized that it's not really a social anxiety. It's more of an energy anxiety, because I believe that I'm an empath and I can feel other people's energies. So when I'm in a big group of people, I feel so many different energies that it makes me uncomfortable. And maybe it's because they're uncomfortable is what I really think. When you go to a bar, the energy in the bar is so uncomfortable because for the most part, people are either there because they just got off work and they're miserable and just want to drink it away. They're single, they're desperate. I don't want to say desperate, but they're looking for a relationship. They're wanting to create a relationship. They want to find somebody. Even if it's just a quick relationship, it's still a relationship. So there's that pressure that they put on themselves, that anxiety, and even though people may play it off and think that they're all cool, they all got to drink to get comfortable, right? And I don't drink, so I don't get comfortable. But I do get comfortable now because I'm starting to realize that. So there's this social anxiety. So I get this opportunity for a speaking job and I've never spoke before. And I was like, and then I was like, no, I'm like, I could do it because it's something because what I'm going to talk about is something that I actually do. So what should I be uncomfortable for? Like, if someone asked me to speak about cars, I'd be really uncomfortable with that. I mean, I know cars, I drive one on occasion, but I don't know, I don't even know how to change oil. I can do windshield wiper fluid. I can check my oil. I can put gas in my car. I know how the turn signal works and all those buttons, but as far as in-depth knowledge of cars, I do not have it. That would be really hard for me to do. But when someone comes to you and wants you to present something that you do on a daily basis, meditation is what it was, it made no sense for me not to do it. And I even said, I was like, you know what? I'll think of something up. When is it? And at that point, it was 2 months away. I was like, I got plenty of time. And then in the last month, I've actually discovered I've rediscovered mindfulness, which is exactly what they want me to talk about at this place. Because they don't want to do the meditation thing, because the meditation is kind of, especially in the corporate world, I don't know, there's a stigma about meditation still. And I feel like that stigma is there just because people don't want you to get that greatness, because meditation is great for everyone. I guarantee it. If someone actually sits and meditates for a week, every day for a week, and comes back to me and tells me it did nothing for them, then challenge accepted. I don't think anybody would. If someone actually truly sat, give me 10 minutes a day for 7 days. If you sat for seven days for 10 minutes a day, and you didn't see at least a little change in your attitude, your mindset, something awesome happening to you, believe it can happen. But don't do it for those expectations. Do it because you just should do it, because it's like sleeping. It's like something that's just needed to be done. And there's so many benefits to it, but you shouldn't do it for the benefits, because the benefits may not be the way that they want them to be. I'm rambling a little bit, but I'm somewhere, right? So the benefits of meditation may not be the goals that you want them to be, but you will get benefits. There's over 70, there's 75, 76 different scientifically proven benefits to meditation. So when you sit down to meditate for your first time, you may get one of those 76 benefits, but it may not be the one you want. It's the one you need. It's the one your body thinks you need. It's the one your mind, your consciousness, your soul, it's the one that is needed the most. And so, but if you're not open to that and you have an expectation, then you're going to miss out on that. So why not? So why wouldn't I talk about something, right? So I took the job. I accepted the opportunity, and then I was supposed to pitch. We were supposed to pitch this job to a group of people. That never came up. We just got it. We were supposed to give them a price. I had a price in mind, which was higher than what my wife thought it should be. I was a lot closer, and actually it was a little higher than what I said. So, but we didn't even pitch the price. They just said, all right, here's what we're going to pay you. Well, in my mind, I already had a price, and it was higher than it was. So why negotiate? Accept it, right? I put it out in the universe that this is the price I think I should make. The universe said, no, you get a little bit more than that. So, okay, I'll take it, and I'll do it. And I got this opportunity, and this opportunity came out of nowhere. Where did it come out? It came out of the universe, because I did put it out there. I put it out there that I wanted to do public speaking. I didn't know how I was going to do it. The crazy thing is that it really came out after I decided to do an event of public speaking. So it was now I'm officially a public speaker, and it was once I made it official that I was actually going to do a public speech, the universe was oh, he is a public speaker, so this opportunity can come to you. That's the way I feel. But it's because I've been present, and I just want to stay present, and I want to continue to do this and speak and inspire people. I'm not special, or I am special, and everyone's special. I'm no more special than anyone watching this video, anyone that doesn't watch this video, anyone in this world. There's 7 billion people in this world, however many, 6, 7 billion. I'm not more special than any of you. Any of you can do what I do. You can even do it better than I do it, because I'm going to continue getting better. But it's not a competition. It's not a race. I'm on my own journey at my own pace. And I think sometimes people don't see that, you know. I give great advice to people that are older than me. And you would think that's crazy, but it's not. So this is actually new thought. As children, we always think we're smarter than our parents, right? We always think we know more. And I think that's because as children, our intuition is on point, because it hasn't had the, you know, depending on the age, the lower the age, the better. We haven't had the brainwashing and the I don't even know how to put this, the brainwashing. We haven't had the brainwashing to make us think that there has to be certain things in our lives and that we need to have certain things and do certain things and take these steps because this is the only way to live life. So I honestly feel like we do know more than our parents. If you think about it from an evolution standpoint, even like not regular, but animals have animal instincts. And where do they get those from? They're passed down from their parents. Like, you know, when animals are first born, they have this instinct of what animals they should be afraid of because they're predators. Like, no one told them. You know, they're born, and if they see that lion, they're like, oh shit, like, I should not be by that lion because it's going to eat me. How does it know that? But a baby lion, when they're born, they're not looking at other lions like, oh man, I want to mess with them, because they know that they're it, right? So if we've evolved and we are mammals just like most animals are, right? Why didn't we, so we don't take that with us? We're not born with instincts. We're not born with it. I mean, unfortunately, when we're born, we're dependent on people, but we're still born with the instinct that we need to eat. That's why we cry. We're still born with the instinct that we need love and compassion and, you know, and that connection. That's why we cry. And that's why babies cry. They cry because they know that when they cry, they'll get that attention. That's their survival. It's their survival skill, right? Crying. Crying is, the louder I cry and the more I cry, the more attention I get and get what I need as fast as possible. So we do have instincts, and I do think that things that our parents have learned along their lives, I truly believe that they pass that down in our DNA. Because, I mean, that's why we create, right? We create life to evolve and to grow and to be better. So each generation is smarter, faster, better than the last. That's why technology is better than it is now in the past, because we evolved. We evolved from, hold on, let me grab a drink. We evolved from where we came from. So I truly do believe that I do know more than my parents. And that may drive them crazy. And sure, they've had their life experiences, but all their life experiences have done is shown them why they should not do things that they think they shouldn't do, right? Everything we see and do, the thoughts, you know, the feelings that we have are created by what we see, and those reactions are created by our past experiences. So when I see a dog, because I love dogs, I feel love, I feel compassion, I want to pet them, I want to love them, right? Other people, if a kid was growing up and was bitten by a dog at a young age, every time they see a dog, it creates the thought of, the feeling of fear, which then creates thoughts that that dog's going to attack them, right? But that could be a harmless dog, but based on your past experiences is where your feelings come from, right? So where was I going with this? With the evolution, you know, we have these feelings, and I really feel like, you know, your parents are only trying to stop you from doing what happened to them. But that was their situation, that was their life, and that was umpteen years before you were even born that happened. And things change and things evolve, and you shouldn't be afraid of anything. You know, the thing that your parents did that hurt them, you could do the same thing, it may not hurt you, because maybe you'll go into it with an open mind, or maybe it's just not meant to hurt you, or maybe it will hurt you, and that's the lesson that you need to learn on your own. But we don't learn lessons from other people. I hear it all the time. Parents will tell you, man, I told you 100 times to not do that, and you still did it, and look, it hurt. I had to learn on my own, right? So I keep going back to parenting, which is funny because I'm not a parent yet. And I won't be for at least 9 months. At least 10 months, I guess I should say, because nothing's been conceived yet. And we're not trying to. So there's no kids there. But parenting is I think, because parenting is a significant thing. I think that's, one thing that a lot of people can relate to is the parenting and just having, yes, you want your kids to learn from your mistakes. But how did you learn from your mistakes? You learn from them because you experienced them. You don't tell your kids stories that your parents told you, right? I'm not like, you know what? My dad used to always tell me not to do this, so I didn't do it, and I'm telling you not to do this. That story never happens. I've never heard my parents tell me that. My dad's never been like, my father, he used to always say, don't do this, and so I didn't, so I don't think you should. Because how crazy does that sound? Like, you haven't even experienced it yourself, but you're telling me not to do it? Like, how do you know if you've never experienced it? So you have to experience things. And as long as you're not putting yourself in harm or in danger in some life-threatening thing, then I say do it. Like, learn. Like, failing is such a good thing to do. It's such a powerful thing to happen, is to fail. Because when you fail, you learn what you did wrong, what to do better, how to do it better. You start to gain that confidence. I own a yoga studio, if you didn't know. This is not my first business. This is my first successful business, but it's not my first business. I've had several failed businesses. But if I had tried to look for investors while opening my yoga studio and tell them my past history, they may not have invested in me because they're like, whoa, like, he's failed at so many businesses. And actually I take that back. I have been successful. I had a successful lawn business when I was in 7th grade. I was mowing like 6 lawns a week. I was making about $120 to $150 every single week at like 12 years old. Balling, right? $600 a month at 12 years old back then. Let's see, that was like over 20 years ago. 12 years old, like, I didn't have any expenses. Like, I was rolling in the dough. Video games all day. Candy on Jason, man. I used to go to Target and live it up. And eating all kinds of Sour Patch Kids and Twizzlers and Mystic, what was that? Mystic drink or whatever, the fizzy drinks and psh. But so I had successful business, and I also had a failed t-shirt business and an IT business that didn't do that well, but I don't think I put that much effort into it. And I've had other business ventures that didn't work out, but I learned from every single one of those and applied everything I learned and actually used some of what I did find useful to help me grow this business. So every failed business that I had actually got me ready for success. If my yoga studio would have been my first business, maybe it still would have been successful. There's, we can say if it would or wouldn't, but I wouldn't have had the knowledge and the access to everything that I did because of all the failed businesses that I had. And that's what made it so much easier for me to do it. So you should fail. If you have something you love, do it. Fail. Learn. Shit, you may succeed the first time because maybe you're just ready for it. I feel like if you're ready for it, you're ready for it. Like, ready, just go in without fear and see what happens. And just accept it. Accept that you put yourself, like, wouldn't you want to pursue your passion, pursue your dream, and fail than to live without ever doing it and just be mad at yourself about that? Like, how ridiculous does that sound? And people do it all the time. They'll wait their entire lives, never pursue their passion, and be mad at themselves for it. But the only reason they're mad is because they knew they should have just did it. But you get to the point where it's too late. So if you're listening to this and you have a passion that you like to pursue, find a way to pursue it. And I get it. People have full-time jobs. Do it on the side. If it's that important to you, do it on the side. I guarantee you're going home and watching TV or doing something. There's a moment in everyone's life. Don't tell me that you don't have time for anything. There's a moment in everyone's life where you're doing something that you think you need to do to wind down, relax, de-stress, clear your mind, blah, 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 right? Take that moment to do what you love, because when you're doing what you love, that is winding down, that is relaxing, that is stress-free. When I do what I love, I do it effortlessly. I don't think about it. When I'm meditating, when I'm at my yoga studio, when I'm life coaching, when I'm talking, when I'm creating these videos, it's stress-free. I'm not stressed. Am I worried about what, like, I haven't even looked at my watch. I don't even know what time it is. I don't know how long this video has been recorded, and I don't care, because I'm just doing this. I'm just sharing this. I'm just spewing this knowledge and this insight and this inspiration, and these dogs better stop barking. And that's all I'm doing. I'm just doing it because I don't care, right? So just be in the present, follow your passion, and see where it leads you. Because the funny thing is, and it's something I found, is that what you think you want to do with your life is probably way off from what you actually need to do with your life, or what your actual potential is. You know, I actually thought that I would just be a life coach. Like, I thought that would just be cool. Like, I'm gonna be a life coach. I'm gonna change people's lives. I'm gonna inspire people one by one. And then I was like, Then I was like, maybe I could do group coaching. And I was like, that was kind of cool too. And I wasn't fully into it. And actually, when I got fully into it, everyone else got fully out of it. But it was okay because it was a learning experience. And I wouldn't say I failed, because you don't. I mean, another thing is, like, with failure, if you continue to pursue something, then you technically never fail. You don't fail until you give up. So if you want to be an actor, and you keep going on auditions and fail, and you don't get the job, and you keep going, and you go to 10,000 auditions and you never get the job, and then you give up, now you're a failure, right? But if you get that 10,001 job, if you finally landed, or 10,001 interview, or, you know, whatever, you finally get that job, those 10,000 interviews weren't failures. They were learning lessons, right? So keep it going. Don't give up. Follow it as long as it feels right. And I talk about feeling right because I've noticed with some of the things that I tried doing with life coaching and some of the other things that they didn't feel right, but I felt like I had to do them because I needed to make money. And I thought that it was going to be a good way to make money. But I was coming from the wrong place. And now that I'm coming from the right place, I'm doing things effortlessly. Most of them I'm not even charging for, but yet I'm still making money. Because the money is just, it doesn't matter. It's not about the money. The money will come if it comes. And if it doesn't come, then it's not supposed to come. And I'm supposed to do this for free. And that's what I'll do. And as long as I enjoy what I do, I'm going to continue to do it. So, and all of this comes from mindfulness. It comes from being present. Like, I do what I do because I enjoy doing it. Because when I'm in that present moment, that's when the magic happens, and when I get lost in this, like, awesomeness and just feel like, I mean, honestly, like, I feel like a different person right now. Like, I don't even feel like I'm the same person that when I started talking. I don't even know if you've noticed how many times I said but, or whatever. But if you do, let me know, because I'm kind of curious to see how this has evolved and how I'm just like streaming this. I'm not reading some teleprompter. There's no teleprompter. No one's telling me what to say. Well, maybe someone is. Someone is telling me what to say, but I'm just saying it, and it's just a feeling, and it's just coming from a place of love and mindfulness and being present and just not even worried about anything. I know my wife's coming home in a little while, and if she interrupts me, she interrupts me, but that's not going to stop me. Like, it's not like I'm like, okay, I need to hurry up and finish this before she gets home. I don't really care. I'm actually going to continue talking until the video dies. So if it does die, you'll know it, because the video will end. I won't come back and finish recording. It's going to end when it ends. And if the video, well, either the memory gets full or the video dies. I knew the dogs may bark in the background, which is actually happening right now, so that's great to bring up right now. But this is what I want to do. Like, this is my new thing that I'm trying, right? And there's going to always be a new thing. Like, this isn't it. This isn't the end game. This is the beginning game, right? Everything's just the beginning. Like, I don't even know where this is going to take me, but that's exciting to me. Like, I'm on like a whole nother level of, like, I don't even know what to call it. Like, I guess if there's levels, you know, I hate using things like that. Like, I haven't evolved. I'm exactly where I should be at this moment, right? I'm not thinking of what I'm doing. I'm just doing. I don't care what the end result is, because I know that everything I do is going to make me a better person, because everything I've done in my life up until this point has made me a better person, and I'm going to continue to strive to be the best person I can, and everyone should do this too. So I know this video is long. I hope you've had patience and stayed with me this long, because I feel like it's getting I feel like it's going to get better. Sorry. I'm not used to talking this much, at least non-stop. Usually there's some engagement, someone else is talking with me. Unfortunately, I'm the only one talking right now, so unless I want to engage with myself, the conversation can't keep going. So, my main goal, my main subject, my main topic is mindfulness, being present, not thinking about the past or present, which I haven't done this entire time. And I've had a lot to share, and I've had all these nuggets, and I have all this insight, but I feel like there's still more that I know. And, you know, I was watching this video, and he was talking about how we sit down and we can talk with a friend for 3 hours and not even think about it. And even like if a friend's having a bad day or just had a bad breakup, we can sit down and give like the best advice, and we don't even know where it comes from. Or like my favorite is like I'm a funny person. I make people smile. I make people laugh. But there have been so many times where like I'll say something funny and everyone's cracking up, and I'm like, I don't even know where that came from. Like I've never said that before. I don't even, like, it just pops in my head and I say it, right? So where did that come from? That came from the same place that all of this is coming from. Because it's there. Like, there's that knowledge. There's that access. Like, I really feel like we all have access to this knowledge, and we just have to find a way to tap into it. And I believe that I found that way, which people share all the time. Be present, meditate, yoga. They're all great ways to do it. Practice mindfulness, practice meditation, practice yoga. Because when you're practicing yoga, you're moving with your breath. You breathe in, you breathe out, you do a move. You breathe in, you do a move, you breathe out. Vinyasa, specifically. Even the other yogas, you're focusing on your breath, and you're feeling your breath, and you're noticing your breath, and you're present with your breath. Your breath is always, as long as you're paying attention to your breath, you're always going to be in the present moment, because you can only focus on that in-breath or that out-breath in that moment. So how does that bring us to anything? And it's funny because I feel like there's part of me that's like, all right, well, where am I going with this? But I don't know where I'm going with this. So it's like I can't even like tell you, I can't even say what I want to say to bring it to a conclusion, because there is no conclusion. I mean, the whole conclusion is to be present and to live in the present. And the more you do that, the more you'll enjoy your life. But that's not the whole point. Like, the point isn't just to enjoy your life. The point is to live, right? I mean, I'm doing this because I love the experiences that I'm getting from this. I love the interactions that I get. You know, when I'm present, I get random people at work that I end up having like a deep conversation with that I wouldn't even expect from. Or, you know, just funny things come out of nowhere that I notice, and they're hilarious because I'm so present. But if I wasn't present and I was worried about something, I wouldn't even have seen that thing happen, or I wouldn't have seen, you know, like I'm driving to work and I see this, and I see hawks all the time. I don't know, I'm not a bird watcher, but I love birds. I love seeing like hawks and eagles. And when you're present, like I see them, and just like I'll see one, and next thing you know, like I see it flying and soaring. It's just so beautiful. They're so like in the present moment, which has actually brought up a good story that I thought of. So we went on a camping trip and we were tubing, and we saw like a hawk fly by. And, you know, we were just like in these tubes, just chilling, relaxing, so present in the moment. Not worried, wasn't even worried about where we were getting to next. We just, because the river was just taking us, right? Like, and this is a great analogy. Like, life just takes you. Like, whether you want to or not, you're going to move in life. And you can either sit, you can try to fight the current and stay in a certain place, or you can go with the current and see where it takes you and just enjoy the ride. And there may be some drops, you know, we did have some drops, and you may fall out of your raft, but you can get back on and keep riding, which all of us did. We all made it, we all survived, we all got to the end, right? We may have all had different experiences, but we all got to the end. But anyway, so we're in there, and I see this hawk, and I was just like, oh, so awesome. And I was like, man, I've never seen a bald eagle. I'm like, it'd be so amazing to like see a bald eagle fly over. And I shit you not, like within minutes, 2 flew right over us. And you can ask my wife this story, because she remembers. Like I said, like, babe, I'm like, it'd be so cool if we saw bald eagles. Like, the hawks were cool to see, because there was a bunch of hawks. And 2 bald eagles just fly over us. And like, you know, I mean, I'm giving myself goosebumps just thinking about it. But it was like, because I was in that present moment, because I was just like, you know, so amazed by what was going on. And maybe there is, I don't want to say psychic, but maybe, you know, did I create the eagles, or did I know the eagles were coming? But you know what? It doesn't matter, because it happened, right? It doesn't matter how it happens. And, you know, that's a great point too. You don't have to know how it happens. If it happens because you say it, or you say it because it's going to happen, it doesn't matter which one. It doesn't matter chicken or egg, because it's still there. So don't overthink things. Like, you shouldn't really overthink things. Just know that it works. So if you want something in your life and you say you want it, do you want it because you already know that it's going to happen, or do you want it because you want it to happen and then it does happen? It doesn't matter. Just do it. Right? It doesn't, like, we don't know, like, do you know where you came from? Does it bother you that you don't know where you came from? And there's a time for that too, like, kind of self-discovery and understanding where you come from and where we think we come from. And we may never absolutely find that answer out, or maybe we do. It's just after a certain event happens in our lives. But it doesn't matter, because we're here now, and we're here in this present, and that's the only thing that matters. Man, it's awesome how I kind of brought that back. Ain't even do it on purpose. Present, that's all that matters. It doesn't matter how I was born, because I was born. And speaking of being born, this is a statistic that I like to share, and I don't actually know the exact numbers, but I know that statistically, you have a better chance of winning the lotto than you did for your sperm to break into that egg and you be born. I say your sperm, your father's sperm. Statistically, you have a better chance, and actually I think statistically you actually have a better chance of winning the lotto twice than being born. So all 7 billion people in this world, statistically, are luckier than any lotto winner. Think about that. We think lotto winners are so lucky because of all the money they got. But statistically, like, we're lucky because that was, like, the chances of you actually being born and not the sperm next to you getting in and taking that spot, or a different egg. You know, maybe that egg didn't survive and it was the next egg. Statistically, the chances of you being in this universe at this time right now are so slim that it's just something that I think everyone should just be grateful for and live with purpose. And don't just live to eat. Someone said that last night. I have a part-time job at Amazon, which we won't get into, but I don't hate it, which is crazy. It's actually a great company to work for. But one of the truck drivers who's there, he's an awesome guy. He's always listening to music, always happy. And I see him and I'm like, hey, what's going on, man? How you doing? He's like, man, just trying to eat, just trying to eat. And I'm like, why? Like, you should be doing more than just trying to eat. Like, I get it. Like, he's in that grind mentality that I just need to survive. And I'm like, I just want to thrive. Like, I don't want to just eat. Like, I already ate. Like, I'm full, right? Like, I'm in the present moment though. Like, I'm not just trying to eat. When I'm there, I'm doing it just because it's a good workout for me right now. Like, that's how I look at it. I don't look at it as a job. I look at it as exercise. I look at it as something that I'm going to do. And I always ask people, like, are you having fun? Like, and they say no. And I was like, well, why aren't you having fun? They're like, well, because I have to be here. No, you don't. You don't have to be here. You choose to be here because of the money that you think you need for whatever you need it for. And I'm like, so what do you use your Amazon money for? Do you use it for bills or to catch up? It's a part-time job, so most people use it as a supplemental income, right? So you're using it so that you can enjoy your life more. So if you're using this job to enjoy your life more, then you should enjoy what you're doing to get to that enjoyment. Why am I going to hate what I'm doing, but then when they pay me now, I like that? Right? Does that make sense? It makes sense to me. Because I know the outcome of what I'm doing. So I go to work knowing that when I get that extra money, I get to have fun. So I'm going to have fun to have fun. Win, win, right? You go to work because you get benefits, so your kids can stay healthy, so you can go to the doctor, the eye doctor, the dentist, get these pearly whites cleaned. And you should enjoy that. You should be grateful in that. Like, if it wasn't for that job that you hate, you wouldn't make the money you need to have the roof over your head, which you don't hate. So don't hate the job. And if you really, really, really hate what you're doing because you don't enjoy it, then find something else to do. And if you can't, for whatever excuse you're going to bring up, because I think they're all bullshit, then suck it up, right? Then accept that that's what this is. This is all this is. All this is a job. It's a means to an end. I accept it for what it is, so I'm not going to hate it, because you definitely need it. Because if you didn't need it, you'd leave it. Knowledge. I'm just gonna let that sink in. Silence is golden, right? So, I actually, I didn't just learn this, but it was brought to my attention by someone that does speeches a lot. And he said that was one thing that you should probably do is, you know, try to emphasize with different points. Sometimes you gotta holler to get your point across. I'm not much of a yelling person, but then he said sometimes you pause and let people think about what you're saying and let it sink in and really feel good. And then like, oh, yeah, Jason's good. I love myself. I should love myself. If I don't love myself, I shouldn't expect anybody else to. Let's talk about that right now. So you should love yourself too, because if you don't love yourself, you should not expect anyone else to love you, because how you treat yourself and think about yourself, people can tell. So if I don't respect myself or I don't love myself, then when I go out in the world, that's my body language, that's my attitude. If I don't even respect myself, then people can tell that. It may not be like maybe a subconscious level thing, but I think it's real, because I think most people that are disrespected are people that don't respect themselves, and therefore don't think they deserve the respect. And they don't demand respect, they don't command respect. But when you won't put up with it, then you either cut it off right away or it just never happens. Like, I get along with everybody because I get along with myself. Like, there may be conflicts with people, and maybe this isn't a deflection, but I think it's all their issue. Like, if we don't get along, then it's something, like, that's your problem. Like, I still love you. I got no problem with you. But I also feel that if someone does wrong to me, then I'm not going to give you the time of day. I'm not gonna be mean to you, but I'm just cutting you off. Like, I'm not dealing with this. Like, if you're gonna do shady stuff, if you're gonna talk about me behind my back, then I don't want nothing to do with you. Like, if you can't say it to my face and you can't be honest with me, then I don't want nothing to do with you. So love yourself. Love yourself unconditionally. Love yourself today. Love yourself in every present moment. Love it. Because you're here. Like, you know, people get so beat up. Like, one of the things that kind of drives me crazy is people get so mad at themselves because they feel like they're failures, but you're still alive. So even if you've failed, which we've talked about failure in this video, even if you've failed, you haven't failed so miserably that your life ended. You're still here, which means you still have time to change things and make them better in your eyes, and enjoy your life and improve your life. That's all I want for people. I just want to inspire. I want to make changes. I want to, and that may change in the future. Maybe, I don't know, maybe I'm going to do something completely different. And for the longest time, and actually it's crazy because, you know, I talk about being present, and, you know, in one of my present moments, people at work at my old job were talking about fear. And at first I was like, I'm not afraid of anything. And then something popped up and I was like, wait, you are afraid of something. And what I was afraid of, and I said this out loud, I said, you know what, I take that back, I am afraid of something. I'm afraid of living up to my full potential. And the reason why I was afraid of living up to my full potential is because, and I heard this or learned this from someone else, but they explained it really great, so I'm going to try to explain it the same way. More people are afraid of succeeding than failing, because I know what happens if I fail. If I do this, I'm going to lose $5,000. If I do this, they're going to be mad at me. But if I succeed, what happens, right? The sky's the limit. Like, if I succeed, if I actually start to become, like, you know, with this public speaking thing, this is my first job. And it's a small job, comparatively, but you know what? It's my first job and they're paying me more money than I'd expect. And I'm not bragging, I'm just saying, like, more money than an untrained, unexperienced speaker should deserve, I guess. But I mean, I have life experience. I mean, I have speaking experience. We all have a story to share. We all have insight and inspiration and motivational things that we can all say. It's all in us. So I'm still offering something. So, but, like, you know, on paper, if you actually analyze it, maybe I don't deserve it, but I'm getting it, so I must deserve it, right? So where does that sorry, where was I going with this? So, yes, failure is way more safer than success. So it's a lot easier to fail at something or to not do something than it is to see that potential. And that's what I was. And the reason why is because as a life coach, and even before I was a life coach, I see the potential in everyone, and I believe in the potential in everyone. I believe everyone has potential. I believe that everyone can do whatever they want to do, as crazy as that may sound. If you want to be president, you can be president. If you're 40 years old and you want to make it to the Olympics, it's possible. You have to, if you can't just wake up and go. You have to do the work to get to that point. There's steps and process and procedures, and maybe there's not, because you can just get it handed to you like I kind of did. But as long as you're in alignment and you're present and you're doing what you love and passionate about, that's when it'll happen. If you're not, if you just want to become a millionaire because you want a lot of money, it may happen. But if there's a passion behind it, if there's a real inner knowing or an inner knowledge that you want to share, or something that you do great, then the money will come. But you don't do it for the money, and that's when it happens. So when I thought about my potential, because I see potential in everyone, and if I see the potential in everyone because I see that potential in myself, and I don't think I'm better than anyone. I don't think I'm less than anyone, but I don't think I'm better than anyone either. And it was scary because it was like, man, I don't even know my own potential. Like, this speaking job can land me more speaking jobs, and the next thing I know, like, I'm on Oprah, or I don't even know who. I'm on Ellen, like, talking to people and inspiring people, and I have thousands of people showing up for events, and maybe I'm writing books and going and speaking engagements and book signings and meeting people, and it's like, whoa, that's a lot of pressure, because, like, what if I say something wrong? I could hurt a lot of people, but I don't think I'd ever say something wrong. I don't think that I come from a place of harm. I come from a place of love. And as long as I come from the place of love and I stay present, that nothing bad will ever happen. And I will never do anything bad to other people. So I did have fear. But I overcame that, and I'm still overcoming it, and I'm accepting it more and more. And it's like, you know what? That unknown is fun, man. Like, I'm excited. Like, I can't wait for my first speaking engagement. I'm already thinking, and what's funny is, like, I'm actually planning on not writing anything for that speaking engagement. Maybe I should try to have a concept of time, because I know there's going to be a time limit, but I really don't care. As crazy as that sounds, I've kind of accepted that I'm just going to get up there, I'm going to share kind of like I'm doing right now as far as mindfulness goes, and we'll see what happens. It'll be better than this video, because this video has already happened, so everything I've shared is already in me, and maybe I'll pop in and share a little bit more, but it's there, so it'll happen, and it'll be okay, and it'll be awesome, and people will love it. The camera's blinking, so I think I may be close to the end, which kind of sucks because it means that I feel like I need to, like, hurry up and spit out whatever, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to kind of keep talking. So we were talking about fear and being afraid of succeeding, which is scarier, right? The unknown is always scary. And being in a comfort zone, let's go there. Comfort zone. I always say, like, when it comes to the comfort zone, is like, you should always try to get out of your comfort zone. I think Bob Proctor was the one that said, like, nothing good happens in your comfort zone. Like, all the awesomeness comes out from your comfort zone. Don't quote me, because that's not his quote. Something similar to that. That's my words, right? Nothing good comes from your comfort zone. When you're comfortable, you stay where you are. You stay stagnant. And we are ever evolving. It's my dog going crazy. Alright, we're going to pause this real quick, even though I don't want to. And I will be right. You know what? I think it says 3 minutes left. So we're gonna take this as a sign that I need to be present with my animals. And I will be back soon. I believe the 3 minutes on my camera means that I only have 3 minutes left. So I don't know how long I've been talking. I'm going to share this video. I think it's going to be awesome. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. I'm so thankful for everything that has ever happened in my life. I'm thankful for the people that are in my life now. I'm thankful for everything, every opportunity that's came my way. I know I deserve it, because if I didn't, it wouldn't happen. I believe in every single one of you that you all can be happy, but happiness comes from within. You have to find that within yourself. Nothing outside will ever make you happy. Temporarily make you smile. I can't even make you happy. I can't make you live up to your potential. I can't make you do anything. But I'm sharing this to inspire you to go out and do it yourself. That's all I can do. And that's all I want to do. I'm not going to sit here and tell you steps to how I got to something, because the steps that I took to get to where I am is not the same steps that you would need to take to get to where you are. So I know a lot of people do this, and actually I'm kind of stealing this from somebody else because it makes sense to me too. You can go see gurus and they can tell you how they made $1 million or $1 billion, and maybe you can do it, but they did it when they did it. And for you to try to do the exact same thing they did later is not new. You're just repeating some old technique. So you have to evolve and do something on your own. And I feel like when you're given a technique to do something, you lose it. Like you lose something in that because you're thinking it has to be done this way. And you're not suppressing, I can't think of the right word right now. You're holding yourself to this template when this is the comfort zone, right? This thing that you were given, this is the comfort zone, and you want to stay in here, but the potential is all out here. It's all out there, and that's what you should actually be doing. You should actually be doing what feels right. I've tried a lot of templates in doing this, because I thought that's what I needed to make money, which I mentioned earlier, and I don't think I elaborated, but I've noticed that it's not authentic as much as you want to make it authentic. Even sitting down and writing a plan out and writing a whole speech, when you get up and read it from memorization, it's still not authentic because you've learned from the time you wrote that speech until the time you get up and speak. And if you don't share what's in the middle of that, then not only are you not being authentic, you're doing a disservice to yourself and the people you're sharing with. You're not sharing everything. It's why I'm recording these videos, and I'm coming from a place of authenticity. I have no plans. I didn't know what I was going to do. I had no time limit. My only time limit was based on this battery and this memory. And hopefully eventually I can get to the point where I can find some recording device, or I need to get a bigger memory card, so maybe that's something I need to get on, because I want to make sure that I can get all of my thoughts out all the time and continue to spew this knowledge that everyone should have and we should all share. Sharing is caring. Anything you have, you should not hold it in. Anything awesome that you learn, you should share it with everybody. You shouldn't keep it to yourself. And I don't want to keep anything to myself that's made me a better person, or that I think has enlightened or opened my mind, or whatever you want to call it. So I'm sharing this with you. I love you. I keep talking because the video is still recording. The dog stopped barking. I hope you could still hear me throughout the barking. It wasn't that much.